The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 47 of the Daily Mother Swole. Today, we are discussing fascia, fascial connective tissue, what it is, and how it will change your life. So I want to welcome everyone from Periscope and Busker. Thank you so much for joining me live, and all the people on Swolenormous Premium. If you don't know what Swolenormous Premium is, it's my exclusive private secret Facebook page that was just launched yesterday with exclusive content, video, nutrition, exercise guidance. It's amazing, the feeling that I have right now and that a lot of people are experiencing. It's such a wonderful community so far, and it's just really great to be a part of some place, a location where I can really help people and people can really help each other and really experience that. So I love it. I really am a huge, I'm so glad that it got started. I'm so glad that this came about, and this is going to be the future of this brand. So thank you so much for joining me from that site. Thank you so much for joining me here. And if you want more information, you can visit the website below my beard, Swolenormous.com. So check that out right now. It's right here in my beard. If you're watching on YouTube, you can't see it live on Periscope though, but you know, Swolenormous.com. That logo behind me, Swolenormous.com. Let's get started. Fascial connective tissue. What is it? Fascial connective tissue is exactly that. It's connective tissue comprised mostly of collagen, and it's continuous, and it surrounds everything in the entire body. So you know you have muscles, that's soft tissue. You know you have fat, that's just stored energy, and you know you have tendons and ligaments. Just to get into those, tendons is a connective tissue that connects muscle to bone, and ligaments attach bone to other bones. Fascial tissue doesn't get a lot of attention because fascial tissue attaches muscle to muscle. It attaches it encapsulates organs, it encapsulates muscles, make sure that they stay in one spot. As you know, if you put your arm over your head, you bring it back down, your bicep doesn't get stuck over your head or get twisted. Everything, no matter how you move, everything stays in exactly the same spot. Well, it's under your skin, yeah, but it's not glued. Your body can move, you can massage, you can twist, you can torque, you can do yoga, you can do all sorts of different things, and everything stays exactly where it's supposed to be. Your organs stay in the same spot, your muscles stay in the same spot, everything stays in the same place, and that's because of fascia. That's because of this connective tissue that surrounds organs. That's because of that's the visceral connective tissue, the visceral fascia. Then you have the superficial fascia that is connected with the lower layer of the dermis, the lower layer of the skin. And then you have that fascial tissue that is deep, that surrounds the muscles, that surrounds the actual muscle fibers themselves and protects them on multiple layers, as we're going to talk a little bit more about. So this is going to be a little more of a technical Daily Swole, but it's super important to understand this concept, because if you don't know that fascia exists, if you don't know how to take care of it, then you're in for a lot of injury, tightness, and pain as you age. Understanding this now will absolutely change your life. I'm not even joking about it. So what connective tissue does, what the fascial tissue does, is it encapsulates items, encapsulates organs, and encapsulates muscles. It separates muscles from one another so you don't get the biceps mixed up with the triceps and the quads all jumbled up. When you stretch, when you run, things stay in the same spot. It allows for attachments between muscles, muscle and bone, and so forth, and tendons, and also provides stabilization. So you have muscles that attach onto fascial connective tissue that provide stability around the joint, because it's kind of like a bone. The muscle attaches to the fascial tissue, which attaches to bone, which attaches to other muscles. That's why you could be so stable. That's why it could be windy and you don't move. That's why you can have that strong base. That's why you can, resist force. That's why you can produce a lot of force to push hundreds of pounds. This is one of those things that does so many things in the body that you're just not aware of. So you have the superficial, the ones that are under the dermis, that are the bottom layer of the skin. Then you have the ones that protect the organs, the ones that we really want to talk about, that we really want to get into, that serve our purpose a little bit better, is the fascial tissue that surrounds the muscles. Now, when you have this connective tissue around the muscles, you have receptors in that fascial tissue. So those receptors, what they do is they provide feedback to the brain. Now, this tissue isn't like muscle. If you tear a muscle, it'll heal a lot quicker than if you tear fascia. Fascia is like you could pull a truck. You could pretty much, with like the IT band, that fascial tissue, when you get a Charlie horse, someone punches you, a dead leg, someone punches you in the side of the thigh, it hurts so much. That's fascial connective tissue. That's why you get bruises that stay for a long time, because that connective tissue gets bad blood flow. So if you get any ruptures, if you get blood that leaks out from vessels, from capillaries into fascial tissue, it's going to stay there for a long time because it gets absorbed poorly. You don't have that network of capillaries, that road system in fascial tissue like you do in muscles and organs. So you have these receptors, you have poor blood flow, so injury is a challenge, and also oxygen, nutrients to get to fascial tissue doesn't really happen the same way other tissues do, but it still is super important, and it still needs to be treated like some of these soft tissues, even though it's a connective tissue, it still needs to be treated in the sense that we think of muscles. When we're thinking of muscles, we're thinking about stretching, lengthening, and taking care of muscles and massaging muscles. We don't think of fascia, but we have to start thinking of fascia, of that connective tissue, like a muscle. The same way we think about massage for a muscle, but what we're really doing is massaging and releasing the adhesions between the muscle tissue and the fascial tissue. That's really what's going on with the foam rolling that I talked about. On Premium when I showed the video of rolling the piriformis on Premium. This is one of those things I'm talking about, the adhesions between the muscle tissue and the fascia. The connective tissue that encapsulates, that surrounds the tubules, that surrounds the muscle tubes, like the straws, that surrounds, when you group all those straws together, that surrounds that bunch of straws. When you get a bunch of straws together, it surrounds all of those. So you have layers and layers and layers. It goes deeper and deeper, like rings of a tree, that keeps everything in place and keeps everything organized. And what happens is you get acids, you get nutrients, you get just things that get balled up, you get muscles that stop, that don't release after a contraction and get stuck together. That's why foam rolling, massage, stretching is super important. So it's mostly elastin, and elastin, it means, that's where the words similar, it's all Latin words, elastic and extensibility. Think of fascial tissue as like hard clay. You can lengthen it, you can stretch it, but it's not like a muscle. Okay, I moved it and it comes back. I moved it and it comes back. It's going to be very resistant to creating a new plastic change. So elastic is one thing, stretching and then recoiling is one thing. But to create a new resting length that when you're relaxed, the actual tissue is resting longer, it's permanent change, takes a long time and takes a lot of gentle force and gravity stretching, as I like to call it, to make change with fascial tissue. So when you're holding stretches for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, that's why ballistic stretching doesn't work, because it triggers receptors that actually tighten up the muscle so you resist stretch. That's why yoga and yin yoga, raja yoga, gravity yoga is super important. Holding these stretches for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10, 20 minutes long, certain stretches is super, super important. I'm going to be posting a lot of those stretches and those styles on my Facebook Premium page. And that's super important to do on your own on a regular basis, because it's going to create that plastic change. It's going to mold that clay. It's going to lengthen it. It's going to create that new resting length, which will reduce tension all over your body and reduce friction and inflammation around joints and all those types of things that we think are from muscle, but it's actually a combination of muscle and the fascial tissue that protects it and connects it to the bone. I know it's a lot of information, but it's just the way it is, how the body works. And trust me, that's why medical school is 4 years long, because the body is super complicated. Super complicated, but it's also very simple. Stretch, take care of your body. So it has a lot of sensory receptors, but what happens with the fascial tissue is you're getting that need for dulling that elastic response. So those longer holds are going to be very, very important. Try that next time when you're on the ground, you're doing a quad stretch or you're doing a hamstring stretch, to hold it for a longer period of time, to hold it for extended periods of time, to hold it for 30 seconds or a minute. Make sure you take deep breaths. Thanks for the comment on Periscope. I appreciate that. Make sure you're taking real deep breaths and relaxing. Holding your breath is only going to tighten and contract muscles. So I'll get more into receptors. I don't want to overload you with too many different things at one time, but getting into all those different things at once is going to distract from what I'm talking about right now. These are just different topics. Some of the other things that fascial tissue does is reduces the friction of force and it transmits mechanical tension. What that means is the muscles actually transmit force through fascial tissue. It's not just a muscle floating in space. You have this hard tissue. And when I say hard tissue, I just mean it's very dense, very thick. Like if I ripped off my IT band, attached it to a tractor trailer like a semi-truck, and had another truck pull it, it would be able to pull. It's not going to rip. Do you understand what that means? Do you understand how much force that is to be able to pull a semi-truck with your tissue? It's amazing what force the body can undergo. And it's also amazing how quickly and easily the body can get injured. If you turn, all of a sudden, boom, a ligament pops. Ligaments are so freaking strong. It just shows how much force gravity provides, how much of a compensation, how much of an injury or a disaster risk it is to have tight muscles, to have tight connective tissue, and to have the immobility that we're supposed to have. So very, very important to understand. That's why form's so important when you're lifting, because not only do you have gravity, but you have 200 pounds you're lifting. So that little tiny movement, that would mean next to nothing without weight. You have the acceleration of gravity, which is what? Let me remember my physics. What is this? Negative 9.8 meters per second squared. If I harken back to my physics. Not to mention you have that plus 200 pounds on top of you. These are huge amounts of weights and huge amounts of rotational force, torque, all different types of forces. And this is all on your muscle. It's all in your joints, all in your connective tissue, that fascial tissue. So you are creating force through your muscle, through the fascial tissue. Not only that, you need to release and stretch. And you can't hold a stretch for 20 seconds and get fascial response. You have to hold it longer. So think of it as clay that can be molded, but it's only molded when you hold it and you keep on pulling. So you have a bar. Let's say you have a bar and it's made of clay and you bend it. You bend it for like 10 seconds. And you go, it's not going to bend. It might like kind of bend a little bit, then go right back. Think about it. But if you hold that clay bar and you keep holding and you keep pulling and squeezing, after, let's say, 20, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, a minute, all of a sudden it starts to curve and it starts to bend. It starts to slowly bend. That's the same way with fascial tissue. I'm not saying you need to provide force, but you need to go against gravity. You need to lie on the ground. The pigeon pose in yoga is a great gravity stretch. The frog pose, the pinwheel, these are all great gravity stretches for fascial tissue because you can be on the ground, hold a position. It's going to be painful, but you have to release and you just relax. And you don't have any muscle tension because you're on the ground and you're able to you don't have to hold your body up. That's why yoga blocks are important, because you don't have to support your body upright with your arms. You release all musculature and you lay on the joint and the muscle in a certain way that you just breathe and release, and the muscle can release. The receptors can reduce tension and give the muscle and the joint and the receptors more slack and allow you to get into those deeper and deeper layers of fascial tissue. So the foam rolling is really important to release adhesions between the muscle and the surrounding fascial tissue that is sticking to the muscle. So it allows for more of a plastic change when you do long-term stretching and doing it regularly. So doing it once in a while will make a difference, but you got to do these things regularly. So flexibility for fascial tissue. Thank you for joining. If you want more information, if you want accountability, if you want social support, if you want my direct feedback, if you want program design, if you want nutrition, if you want exclusive videos, check out my website, Swolenormous.com. Sign up for Swolenormous Premium. It's a secret closed Facebook page. I'm posting pretty much every day a foam rolling video. I'm posting yoga workouts, like full yoga classes. I just posted, nutritional videos and shopping carts, all different types of stuff, tons and tons of content that's exclusive there. It's $4.99 a month, which is, you pay more for a coffee, and this is once a month, and you get tons and tons of content. Some of you are already online right now watching me, are already joined up. It's a ridiculous deal. The first 100 people get $4.99 for life, $4.99 a month. That is an amazing, amazing deal. I had someone sign up yesterday say, yeah, I was thinking about it, and then I bought 2 coffees and spent more than $5 later on, and I realized how amazing a deal that is. So they went up and signed right up, and they're already getting feedback. So you come in, enjoy the content, the ebook, my big freaking ebook that I posted up there, the 7 Pillars of Swolenormous. You get that when you log in. It's in the Files tab. And just the community is already amazing. You introduce yourself and we get right into your issues, get right into your problems, and we start working on your challenges and just the emotional, just the strength and just the feeling you have to expose yourself to other people, to tell people what your challenges are, to let people into your world is what really makes the difference and really sets it apart. So it's a great way for me to be able to help more people. It's a great way to give direct feedback and have everyone collectively benefit from it. So it's already amazing. Right when I get off here, I'm going back there. I'm just really amped, and that's why I'm going to be talking about that a lot, but just letting you know where this information is going to be found. Thank you so much for joining me on episode 47 of The Daily Mother. Oh yeah, The Daily Mother Swole. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern Time for The Daily Swole. Enjoy your day. Peace out.